moving on to step 2 and narrowing the focus from that big, expansive, strategic view to the smaller picture. The next is to grow profitable sales. So you want to grow profitable sales. Here are some ideas to consider. The first and maybe the most self-evident is prioritize selling. You need to make everyone in the business aware of the importance of profitable sales. Sometimes that's taken for granted, and the assumption at the top is everyone appreciates that, but that's not always the case. The next suggestion is you should go about developing effective sales skills. A lot of businesses take orders and they are not proactive in what they do. They don't go out and actually chase the sale. And there tend to be very few born salesmen, and essential sales skills can be learned. So I would suggest that's a very important issue to consider. You should also have a detailed sales and marketing plan and budget. Tendency for people to talk price. So don't talk price because there isn't a correct price. You should ask yourself, honestly, what's the price of a cup of coffee? It doesn't exist. Instead, talk up the value and sell the benefits. For example, me as an accountant might say, well, we'll save you more tax than you pay us in fees in a year. And that's a boast we might make. We may not always deliver on it, but I think it hopefully makes the point. Next is, don't cut the marketing budget, make it more effective. Marketing budgets seem to be taken to be discretionary, or maybe the first things to be cut, but they shouldn't be. They're the thing that drives sales. Extend your market reach through distributors, agents and associates. You could possibly consider joining collaborative networks and industry supply chains. Just some thoughts. The importance of margin. We've talked about sales. Sales, I would say, are eye-catching, but gross profit pays the bills. So some more ideas to consider. Ensure your pricing delivers sufficient margin to justify your efforts, and otherwise don't end up being a busy fool. To achieve sufficient margin, you'll generally need a reliable costing system to set appropriate prices in a competitive environment. Therefore, set your margin and know when and why it's lost. Regularly review your profit margins by product line, by department, by customer, by sector, by salesman, or whatever other basis you believe would be helpful to you. Find the optimum balance between volume and price to maximize your profit earned. There's a delicate balance of too much lower the price increases the volume, higher the price reduces the volume. There's a balancing point which you should consider playing with to try and find that point at which you maximize your gross profit earned. Price discounting, there's always a tendency to look to discounting, and I would suggest that it's frequently a misplaced approach, as loss of margin can only be made up by generating additional sales. For example, if you have a product you're discounting or a service by 15% and it normally generates a margin of 30%, then you've got to sell twice as much just to stand still, and that's hard enough to do. And potentially, to bring the point of all of this home about margin, try linking sales team remuneration to the achievement of margin targets rather than necessary sales targets, and also perhaps cash collection, which will link into the importance of cash, which others have been talking about up until now. Step 3, achieve cost reductions.